Okay, guys. Sorry, everyone. So, guys, shall we start now? Okay. So now, mm, uh, somebody, okay, uh, has an issue with for creating this one. What is your problem? Please speak out, ma, if it is possible.
Hi, sir.
Please,
Uh,
please, please.
so I'm just trying to create one Azure free account, sir.
Mm-hmm.
But when
All
I'm
right.
trying to, add my card details, when I try to hit setup, sign up, it's telling that card details name doesn't match with card details. I checked out through internet, but a lot of people are facing this issue from last. I even tried to, check out forums of Azure, but there's no solution for it.
No, actually, I think if such is the issue, either the problem will be at your banker side, or else
Uh-huh.
it will be, it may be, if it is from Microsoft, it will be sorted out in 1 or 2 days. That's not a big deal.
So basically, we should directly opt for a free one only, no, sir? Like, is there anything specially for students
Go with
or?
the free one, that's better, na. Students, if
Uh,
you go with the student one, you'll not have all privileges given to the account. So
okay,
you don't have the privileges means again you will have issues, no.
okay, sir.
So better not to go with that. Okay.
Mhm.
If you
Okay, sir.
get if this problem persists again, just get back to me. I'll help you on that. Okay. We'll
Okay, sir. I'll
correct it.
just
Or
talk
you
with
just
my.
while during the class, just give me the access of your desk using the any desk app. I will help you out. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank.
Okay. Anyways, guys, so all of you. So now, as we discussed yesterday, and I said that we'll start up with the uh, that is the practicals and those things. So, guys, Azure data engineering, Azure data engineering. So, guys, this is the Azure data engineering. So, we have the Azure data engineering. So, guys, when you talk about the Azure data engineering, guys, everyone, when you talk about the Azure data engineering. So can you see here, guys, everyone? So when we talk about the Azure data engineering, so here we are going to see these 3 different services which are available. So those are nothing but I can say here ADF, which is nothing but the Azure Data Factory. Yes, guys, which we call it as the Azure Data Factory. And then we have the next one is the Azure Databricks. And then next one you have it as what? Synapse. These are the 3 things we are going to see it right now. So guys, okay. So when you talk about the Azure Data Factory, so guys, Azure Data Factory. So I again today need not repeat the things for you guys. What is Azure Data Factory? What is Azure Data Breaks, etc. Am I right? So because already I've been using this, so I'm using the Azure Data Bricks. Azure, sorry, Synapse Analytics, Azure Synapse Analytics. These are the 3 we have used. Okay. Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, and Azure Synapse Analytics. These are the 3 things we have it, guys. So when you talk about the Azure Data Factory, so guys, these all services has some properties. Has some properties. Okay. These all have some properties. What is that? The property. In the properties, you cannot use them. So we should know the properties. Okay. What are the properties we have? That means how to use it. That is nothing but the other word. In the other words, I can say how to use this particular service, that everything is there within the properties only. If you know properties, everything is there. Okay. That means you know everything. So guys, the first property of the Azure Data Factory is pipeline. And or else you can say components also. pipeline, then you have linked service. Sorry, linked service. And the third one is, what is it? You have data sets. Fourth one is what? Pipeline, linked service, data sets. Then you have activities. Fifth one is, what is that? Integration. Runtime. Sixth one is triggers. Seventh one is and the seventh one you can say here, guys, everyone, the seventh property we can say data flows. So these are the 7 properties or the 7 components you can say you have it in the Azure data factory. That is nothing but the properties you can say. Pipeline, linked service, data sets, activities, integration, runtime, triggers, and data flows. Triggers and what is that? Data flows. Guys, just give me 1 second. I will delete this. Why? Because if I retain this, it will charge me very high. I've opened this, so just a minute. I'm showing you the process how to delete it. This is the
But we are seeing only Notepad. We are not seeing any Azure thing.
every time you have to delete this, or else it will charge you like anything you have to pay. So guys, now let us begin this. Okay, so these are the things we have it. When you talk about the Azure data bricks, guys, here you have the following properties you can say. How does it works basically? I'll tell you all this. Okay. So here you have, what is that? The first one, you will have the resource group. And under this resource group, guys, everyone, under this resource group, you have it here. The first one that is called as a workspace. Resource group, workspace. Then you have the next one is clusters. And under the cluster, you will have notebook. These are the, can you see here, components you will have it, guys, everyone. These are the components you have in the Azure data bricks. Guys, everyone, just remember this, okay? These are very, very important, okay? So without that, you cannot go ahead. So under the Azure data factory or ADF, you have the following, that is, we can say properties or components. Under the Azure Databricks, you have the following. What is it? You have it. That is, first one is the resource group, and the second one is the workspace and cluster and notebook. Guys, you will have one-to-many relationship. One resource group, many workspaces, and one workspace, many clusters. One cluster, many notebooks. So likewise, you have the relationship called what? One to many relationship. What is that? You have the relationship called what? One to many relationship. That's it. And now, guys, this is nothing but basically the next one you can say here, Azure Synapse Analytics. So basically, the Azure Synapse Analytics is basically, this is nothing but it is the combination of what is that? All. What is that? it has, okay, anyways, we will discuss when we get into the subject. Okay, so here you have what's that, the first one, you can say I'm just discussing you some of the properties or components. First is the resource group is common for this one as well, and under this resource group, the login details, that means you will have to create a workspace. So then next one, what is it, you have it under the workspace, you will have the pools. Under the workspace, you will have the pools. Under the pools, guys, under the pools, then you will have what is that? That's it. So these are the pools you have it. So we can say here also, you can have what's that? One-to-many relationship. One works, the one resource group and multiple workspace and multiple, what is that? And one workspace, multiple pools. So now guys, let us discuss or start discussing from the first one of the what is Azure Data Factory. First of all, what is a pipeline? Guys, what is linked service, etc. First of all, just come to the, just take out a word called pipeline now. Just take out the word called pipeline. So what do you understand by the word called a pipeline? If I'm using the word called pipeline, tell me what's the first thing which encounters into your mind?
Flow.
A line which supplies the water. Am I right or not?
Flow.
Yeah, please. Pipeline is nothing but it is a line or it is a connection which supplies the water. Am I right or not? Yeah.
Yes.
So we all stay in some residential apartments or individual houses, etc. How do we get the water? We get the water from the overhead tanks. Am I right? We get the water from what is it? Overhead tanks. Am I right? We get the water from the overhead tanks ultimately. Okay. So guys, when you talk about getting the water from the overhead tanks, so generally your overhead tank supplies the water to the whole building. Am I right? Whereas that overhead tank basically is connected with every flat or every this thing by using what is that? A pipeline. So we can say pipeline is that which supplies the water from the overhead tank to the each and every flat located in that building. Am I right or not? Okay, so we can say that ultimately the pipeline supplies the water. The pipeline supplies the water, guys, everyone. The pipeline supplies the water. The pipeline supplies the water. The pipeline supplies the water where all the pipelines are connected to what is that? To the overhead tank. All the there is nothing but pipelines are connected to the overhead tank. Whereas ultimately, when you talk about how will you receive that water, you will receive it in your wash area. You will have a tap, just open that tap, you'll get the water. That means what? Your tab is connected with a pipeline, and that pipeline is ultimately attached to the overhead tank. That is attached to the overhead tank. Now tell me, which is the source of supplying of the water? Pipeline. Pipeline is the main source of supplying the water from the overhead tank to your wash area. Am I right or not? Now, the pipe is connected to the overhead tank as well as your tap. Now the pipe is intacted. Now the pipe is intact with a connection between what is it? The pipe and the overhead tank and the pipe and the tap. Am I right or not? So here what is it? We have it two things. First is pipeline is supplying the water. Ultimately, the pipeline is attached to the overhead tank with what is it? Some connection. Am I right or not? So these are the two things you have it. So if it is not connected, if the pipeline and the overhead tank is not connected, will the pipe get the water? Tell me now. My question is that everyone, if the pipe and the overhead tank is not connected to each other, will you get the water in a pipeline?
No.
No, we won't get it. So connection is also important. So we can say that pipeline is a source of supply of water, where the pipeline supplies the water only on being attached with the overhead tank. Am I right or not? So whereas here also the same pipeline, here it is called as what? Data pipeline. That is called as what? Data pipeline. Here you have a source. Source means what, guys? Source of data. Source means what? Source of data. So here you have a source of data. Source of data means what can you see here? You can say source of data as some files. Some files are there. Source of data. From the source to the target, you supply the data. From the source to the target, you supply the data. From the source to the target, you supply the data by using what is that? Pipeline. By using what is it? Pipeline. And this pipeline is the part of what is that, guys? Everyone. This pipeline is a part of what is that? ADF. So these pipelines are designed by using what is that? ADF. So we can say that the pipeline supplies the data from the source to the target. From the source to the target. Pipeline supplies the data. So hence, this pipeline supplies the data from the source to the target. So hence, this is called as what? Data pipeline. Hence, this is called as what, guys? This is called as what? Data pipeline. Hence, this is called as what? Data pipeline. Hence, this is called as what? Data pipeline. Hence, this is called as what? Data pipeline. So, data pipeline is nothing but it is a pipeline which supplies the water. Data pipeline is nothing but it is a pipeline which supplies the data from the source to the target. And these pipelines are designed by using the service called what is that? ADF. By using the service called what? ADF. Getting my point, everyone? Yes, guys? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Whereas the second one, what is it? You have it? Pipeline is okay. You have next one, what? Linked services. What is linked services? Basically, when you talk about the linked services, guys, you know, already just now we've discussed an example. The pipe is attached with the overhead tank with a connection. Am I right or not? There will be another connection given to the pipe and the overhead tank, pipeline and the overhead tank. Whereas that connection is essential to connect the pipeline with the overhead tank ultimately. So here also, to connect the pipeline with the source and to connect the pipeline with the target, we require one thing. What is it? LS, linked service. We require what is it? LS, linked service. Link service is nothing but creating the relationship between the source and the target. Guys, tell me, you don't know directly. You people doesn't know me directly. But who is connecting all of us? Can you tell me? Yeah, guys, who is connecting all of us? Huh?
Internet network.
DURGASOFT ultimately, am I right? Yes, DURGASOFT is connecting. So DURGASOFT is establishing the internet, that is fine. You people doesn't know me directly. So we are connected to what? Through the DURGASOFT. So DURGASOFT is connecting you and me. DURGASOFT is connecting you and me ultimately here. Okay, it is connecting all of us. Okay, all of us by using the means called what? By using the means called, yes, guys, by using the means called what? Zoom meeting. By using the means called what is it? Zoom meeting. Okay. That's it. So guys, here also the same thing. That means linked service is essential to establish the connection between the source and the ADF, source and the target and the ADF. So to establish the connection between the source and the ADF and target and the ADF, we require what is that, guys? We require, yes, we require what is that? A linked service essentially. That's it. Okay. Next one, what is it? You have it. The third one is what? Data sets. So what is my data set, guys? Data set is nothing but ultimately, guys, data set is nothing but data set is used to, guys, data set is nothing but this is used to, or we can say the data set is nothing but collection of information stored here. So we can say that the data set is nothing but in some other languages, we may call it as a table. In some other languages, we may call it as what? Table. But those tables here are called as what? Data sets. Those tables are called as what, guys? Those are called as what? Data sets. So here we require one source data set, and one target data set.
Sir,
Please.
sir, I didn't got the relevance of data set. Like, why do we like? I got the relevance of pipeline and link service, but why do we use a data set?
Data set is that which is used, table is used to ultimately do what?
Store the data.
That's it. To store the data, we require something. Now we are using a tables here. That's a data set. Within
So
the
like,
storage, yes, see, here you will have it. The source storage is here now. We are getting it into ADF. This is a pipeline. This one is also part of ADF only.
okay, so from the source, the data comes to the data set
ADF,
first, right?
ADF, ADF, ADF. In
Okay.
ADF, the data stores into data set. And whereas this particular thing is done by the linked service. This all connections will be established by the link service. Okay. And now further, the data will be assigned to the data pipeline. And here at the end, what happens? The same here, the target, whatever the target you have it, whether your target is some data lake, something. Again, in the data lake also some, okay. Again, the data is stored into what's it in the form of a data set. And this data set is stored in the form of a data set. And whereas here you have what is that? Ultimately, to relate this particular target with given ADF, ADF requires to be established connections. That means whether it is the storages of Azure or non-Azure. If you have cloud or non-cloud, we must and should require the linked service essentially. Without that, it's not possible to attach it. Okay. And whereas to store the data, we use ultimately what's it? Data set. Data set is nothing but just a table here. That's it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, everyone is clear with this or not? Please tell me.
Yes.
If not clear, I'll give you some example. Please tell me, ma.
Sir, Avinash here.
Tell me.
Yeah. So, is this data set a logical concept or a
Yes,
physical?
it's a logical concept. It's a logical concept.
Okay. Thanks. Okay.
Now I don't want to confuse you guys. That's the reason I have not gone into the depth of it. If you understand this at this point of time, that's enough. That's the reason I have not told you. What is this data set? How it is how it will be there exactly. That we will see it once we see the practicals. Okay, don't worry on this.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
Okay. So guys, here you have what's a data set. So now these three things are there. What is it? Pipeline, linked service, and data set. So what I will do is we will continue this three and rest of all this ADF. So we'll start first of all with the ADF, guys. So we will start first of all with the ADF and we will see one case study on ADF. Then we will come back to the ADB one by one because all of a stretch, if I tell you everything, you will not understand it. So I will just first of all tomorrow we will start with this ADF only. We'll complete this and we'll see a practical on ADF. Then we'll slowly move with the ADB and rest of the things. Okay, guys. So step by step we will go. No worries. So from tomorrow onwards, connected at 10:30, guys. Okay. And the link will be sent to you. Connect at 10:30 from tomorrow onwards. Okay.
Sir, I have a query.
Uh,
Like, if I join those parallel batches like separate for ADF, ADB, like, will I be able to follow like ADF and ADB going parallelly, or there has to be a link between them? Like, I have to go sequentially because I'm new to it, and so what do you suggest? Like, should I go in a sequence or can I do it parallelly?
if you have a time, go one after the other. That's better, na. Anyways, if you join this, you will be allowed to join other batches also. There will be no problem in that. Absolutely, you can switch it off. Getting my point? So you need not worry on this whether you can, if you have a time constraint, you can join things parallelly. ADF one batch, ADB one batch. Synapse will be taught in only this batch. No other batch is there for Synapse. Okay.
Okay, so sir, if I go for the full stack, I will be allowed to take the individual batches also
Yes,
if I
yes,
okay.
you can do that.
Got it, got it. Okay.
So that's it. That's it, guys. So we will continue this tomorrow, and tomorrow just connected at 10:30. So from tomorrow onwards, we'll connect at 10:30 to 11:30 or 11:45 will be the timings standard. Okay. So now you will be onto the normal regular time pace. We'll start up. Okay. So if you have any other questions, please tell me.
Sir, one query.
Please.
Yeah, will we be implementing some business cases end to end in this
Yes,
course?
yes, 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 yes. We will implement it.
Okay, okay, thanks.
Thank you. So guys, I'm ending up the class here. We'll meet tomorrow at 10:30. Thank you. Yeah, PySpark is also in this course. Yes, PySpark is also there in this course. Okay. Yes, Santosh. That's it.
And
Thank
sir,
you. Please, please, please.
we will be getting the video recordings every day, right?
Yeah, every day.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. You guys, thank you. Ending up the class now. We'll just meet tomorrow.